Hi everyone, let's solve the next question in the SQL 50 series, which is monthly transactions 1. In this question, we have a table called transactions where we have the transaction ID, the country of the transaction, the state of the transaction, which is of enum type, and it has the options approved or declined, the amount of the transaction, and the transaction date. We have to find a query. We have to write a query to find for each month and country the number of transactions and the total amount, and the number of approved transactions and the total amount. So this is quite simple. What we'll do, we have the country over here, the transaction date over here. We have to find all the number of transactions, so the count of all IDs, and the sum of amount, and the count of all IDs where my state is approved, and the count of the sum of all the amount where my state is approved. So let us start writing the query. What we'll have to do, we'll have to write two CTEs, one for all the transactions, the other for the approved transactions, and we could join those two by the ID and the country. So let's start writing the query with all transactions as the columns that we need are, so we need the month over here, and in the input we have transaction date. So we could do left of the transaction date comma 7 as month, the country then we need the sum of amount, and then we need the count of IDs. The sum of amount as count of ID as transaction count, and sum of amount as transaction total amount. From my table is transactions, and we need to group it by this and the country. Okay, so first is this. My second CTE will be of approved transactions, and it will be same as the all the transactions. We just need to put one filter over here, that where my state equals to approved, and just let me change the column names. So approved count and approved total amount. Okay, and my select statement is all transactions A, comma approved transactions B on A dot month equals to B dot month, and A dot country equals to B dot country. And in the select statement we have A dot month comma A dot country, comma, first I need to have my transaction count, so A dot transaction count comma my approved count, so b dot approved count, then I have my a dot transaction total amount, and finally b dot approved total amount. And do we need to arrange it in a particular order? No. So let's run and check. Yes, so our solution has been accepted. Now let's run and see if all the test cases are passing. Okay, so some of my test cases are not passing, and that is because for this particular transaction my approved count is null, whereas I need to show it as 0. So I can use a coalesce function over here, and a coalesce function over here as well. And this should work. Now let's submit and see if all the test cases are passing. Yes, so all our test cases have passed.